In the Saiyan and Namek saga of Dragon Ball Z, lore-accurate Goku went from being the strongest warrior on Earth, but one of the weakest in the universe, to becoming the single strongest warrior anywhere in the entire universe, with Frieza essentially defeated for good, and Goku having achieved the highest title of power possible as the legendary Super Saiyan. Threats had to begin to come from brand new places and expand upon what it meant to be the strongest, even if it meant passing the torch to others. Last time we covered the beginnings of lore-accurate Goku in Dragon Ball Z, and today we'll be exploring lore-accurate Goku in the Cell and Buu saga, as he was faced by the only things that could still challenge him as the strongest warrior of the present day, the very concept of the past and future. How strong is lore-accurate Goku? Well, we'll just have to jump right in to find out. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's check out something special. Now, if you guys know me, you know that I'm a huge fan of mobile games, and especially RPGs, and that's why I'm so happy to be able to talk to you about Raid Shadow Legends today. You've probably heard about this game before, but probably have never downloaded it or played it, but there has never been a better time to start playing, especially if you download from my personal link. My least favorite thing about mobile games is that getting new playable characters and reaching content early on is nearly impossible, but thankfully, Raid isn't like other games and is literally giving away 2 epic and 2 legendary champions for free to new players while also constantly adding to their endless trove of playable content. For example, this month it's all about the Sylvan Watchers. Rather than building a sprawling city on the ground or in a cave, the Sylvan Watchers made their home in the Mistwood, a huge jungle in the east of Teleria. Personally, I think the 2 coolest members gotta be the Greenwood Ruark and Dwaydon the Runic. If you haven't started playing yet, what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description or scan my QR code to get the anniversary bonuses available only via my link, and you'll immediately get a huge starter pack with the epic champion Kellan the Shrike from the Sylvan Watchers faction and other useful things, and at level 15 you'll get the epic Grizzled Jarl from the Dwarves faction as well. And right now you can use one of these 5 promo codes to get one of these 5 legendary champions. Dragon Ball fans especially, I think you should pick up one of the brand new promo codes to get Sung Wukong the Monkey King for free with the code Monkey King, which is what I did because this guy is literally who Goku is based on, and you can play as him. He's already my favorite champ, and I can't wait to use him more. Come find me in game at Lonk's Takes and join me in the raid. The story of lore-accurate Goku begins with the return of Frieza. Not only had he survived the explosion of Namek, but he had obtained numerous upgrades that make him stronger than ever before. On top of this, he had brought along his father, King Cold, the former emperor of the universe, and being nearly as strong as he was. They come to Earth looking for Goku, but the strongest warrior in the universe isn't there to save them, and with no other Super Saiyans around, there is no chance of victory until he does arrive. But of course, out of nowhere, an unknown boy with a sword appears, revealing that he is also a Super Saiyan and cuts down both galactic overlords in mere seconds, establishing that firmly the next era has no place for alien emperors. Frieza is Raditz now. When Goku finally does arrive, and before we even know who this mysterious Super Saiyan is, Goku once again shows why his unique combination of hard work and talent as a Saiyan raised on Earth makes him unlike everyone else, as he reveals he now knows how to instantly teleport after training on the alien planet of Yardrat. This is insane, as having an ability to instantly travel nearly anywhere completely overhauls pretty much everything established about Dragon Ball up to this point. Things like Goku showing up late against the Saiyans, the hunt for the Namekian Dragon Balls, or the escape from Namek would have been completely trivialized with this absolutely broken power. Goku continues to flex why he is simply built different, as the mysterious boy tests out Goku's power as a Super Saiyan, the massive gap in their experience being clear, as Goku is not only able to completely read the intent behind the swordsman's attacks, but match his attacks with a single finger. In other words, you could be just as strong as Goku, and your power would still mean nothing in the face of his legendary skill. Of course, the mysterious boy is Trunks, who reveals that he is Bulma and Vegeta's son from 20 years in the future, and that in 3 years, every single fighter besides Gohan will be killed by 2 androids created by the former scientist of the Red Ribbon Army, Dr. Gero. The worst thing of all is that Goku doesn't even get a chance to fight and dies of an illness before the battle. This is a concept never once brought up in Dragon Ball before this point. While Goku has died once before in battle, that time it made sense. It was a noble sacrifice in the middle of a fight that ultimately paid off in multiple ways, a warrior's death. But this time, this was a force that had nothing to do with Goku's power. He could be as strong as he wants, but he would still get sick. He might be the strongest, but he is still mortal. Not even a Super Saiyan can defeat a disease. But Trunks offers a a way out. After all, he comes from the future to prevent this from happening by giving Goku a medicine from the future. Armed with the knowledge of the android's attack and a medicine to save Goku's life, maybe Goku has a chance of changing everything in a battle against androids who are incomprehensibly strong. As warriors, they decide to not preemptively strike before the android's attack, and thus one of the biggest training sessions in all of Dragon Ball begins, with every warrior training for essentially 3 years straight. Now, unfortunately, this is probably the most ambiguous training in overall period in Dragon Ball history, as besides potentially Cooler's revenge happening and Vegeta getting Super Saiyan, all we know is that Goku trained with Piccolo and Gohan, but got so much stronger that he can barely control his casual power in his base form. With everyone ready, Goku goes to confront the androids. Now, the power of the androids was actually already hinted at the beginning of the arc, with the only thing deemed possible to make Frieza stronger being cyborg technology. While of course Frieza formerly had a power quadrillions of times stronger than any human, what happens when someone smarter than any alien puts real time, effort, and hatred into making a cybernetic warrior? You get the new strongest beings in the universe. While the Z Warriors arrive far stronger than their future counterparts, Trunks' time travel has irrevocably changed the timeline, as instead of 17 and 18, Gero and Android 19 arrive to attack. Now, one of the main advantages Goku had against his opponents in both the Saiyan and Namek saga was that he could sense their energy and they could not, relying on scouters that would break. But now that was impossible because the androids couldn't be sensed at all. After a brief scuffle, Goku's first proper fight since Namek begins against Android 19. While he is clearly stronger than both Gero and his creation, his immense power is failing him because the heart virus is here. No medicine is an instant cure, and so while Goku is rendered useless to something he cannot control due to Trunks' intervention, he will just barely survive. In the meantime, a lot of things happen before Goku returns. Over just 22 chapters, Gero and 19 are killed, even stronger androids 16, 17, and 18 appear, Vegeta has Super Saiyan, Piccolo fuses with Kami, but most importantly, Cell arrives from the future. Cell's place in the lore of Dragon Ball I think is pretty clear. He's quite literally the amalgamation of every single threat that has come before. He's made of the cells of the last 4 major villains and is an android born from the villains of OG Dragon Ball. This means he has literally all their perks, but also all their flaws. When Goku awakens from the heart virus, he is a changed man. The first panel revealing that Goku is awake is one of my favorite in the series, and it's almost eerie. The way he silently stares out the window, face hidden. Goku saw what was happening in his dreams and decides that there is only one way forward to defeat the androids: transcend Super Saiyan or give up and die trying. Currently outmatched by the level of power of the present threats, Goku is forced to wait as Cell continues to grow stronger, finally able to enter the time chamber as Vegeta and Trunks begin to take on Cell. As is the case many times before, Goku's unparalleled understanding of growth and training comes to the forefront. We watch as at essentially the same time as Vegeta and Trunks show off their own Super Saiyan Grade 2 and Grade 3 forms that offer nothing but raw power, Goku instantly learns why these forms are not the way to break the limits of Super Saiyan. As we all know, the Vegeta clan utterly fails to beat Cell, having relied on power and nothing else, but just barely managed to tickle Cell's ego to give everyone time to prepare for the Cell games. When Goku and Gohan finally exit the chamber, Goku has once again become a complete anomaly in the world. Mastered Super Saiyan is something no warrior or anyone in the universe had ever seen before. It's power, but completely stable and calm, almost taking a lesson from the androids and their undetectable infinite energy. Not only that, but pretty much every transformation up to this point had either been a minor boost or had come with a massive drawback. This is the first time that neither of those things are true. Despite being leagues beyond everyone else, and after meeting Cell, Goku isn't confident he can win, and yet chooses not to train for the remaining days. As Goku says, he's going back to the basics, in which resting well matters just as much as training well. Arriving to the Cell games, there is no question on anyone's mind to who is the only person who can beat Cell. It's Goku. He's the strongest, almost always has been, and is the best fighter any of them will ever meet in their life. He has to be the one to beat Cell. And of course, the fight is close, displaying everything we've we've talked about up to this point, and even showing how terrifyingly powerful teleportation is. But against Cell, it's still not enough. And for the first time ever, Goku gives up completely. From the moment he woke up, Goku never really planned on beating Cell. Cell is literally every major challenge of his life, plus literally himself. He never stood a chance. And that's why, in Goku's unparalleled combat genius, all of this work, all of this training wasn't for himself. It was for Gohan, because Goku saw something in Gohan no one else could see. And of course, he ends up being right, as Gohan unlocks Super Saiyan 2 and utterly surpasses Cell. But Goku was still a man living on borrowed time. Even after carving the path for his son and his bottomless potential to finally achieve the limit break of Super Saiyan everyone had been searching for, a price had to be paid. He should have died days ago to the heart virus, and so...
Sorry, Kinkai, but this is the only place I could think to bring him!
And yet, even in death, Goku continues to show why he will always come out on top in the end, combining his power with Gohan and finally defeating not only every enemy that had come before, but a little bit of himself too. Cell is defeated, the universe is safe, but Goku is dead, having died with the title of the strongest passed to Gohan. Goku had overcome the threats of the future itself by embracing the future and stepping out of the light. Just like Goku's first time in the Otherworld, death provided Goku with new opportunities to grow stronger and learn more than ever before. Death allowing Goku to bridge not only space, but time, separating him from the warriors of his universe. Now, of course, the anime expands on this far more than the manga, with characters like Olibu and Pikkon showing that even normal humans, given enough time, training in the timeless Otherworld, can eventually become stronger than the likes of Perfect Cell. With no intention or plan of ever going back to the living world, Goku begins to train, first catching up with his son and achieving Super Saiyan 2, but going even further beyond that, because there's nothing else for a warrior to do but grow stronger. Now, the Buu saga overall probably adds more diverse lore and has more plot points than probably any other arc in Dragon Ball, so covering Goku's place in all of it can be a bit awkward. So instead of following a strict chronological order here, I'm just going to list a couple of insanely impressive things that get added to Goku's lore here to make him an absolute monster. Even in his base, he's already stronger than the Supreme Kais, the highest gods in the universe, and he's also stronger than every other non-Saiyan Z fighter. He now knows the fusion dance, the single strongest power multiplication technique in the entire Dragon Ball multiverse that allows for the creation of both Gotenks and eventually Gogeta. He creates the strongest Super Saiyan form ever in Super Saiyan 3, one that is so powerful it can barely exist in the living universe because its energy output is simply that high, and it literally drains how much time Goku has left on Earth. He's literally so much stronger than Vegeta that the Prince of all Saiyans needs to throw his pride aside to get the Majin boost, an ability that brings out all of his hidden potential to its limits simply because Goku was better at training than Vegeta was. And finally, he's strong enough to defeat Fat Buu, a threat to the entire universe who could one-shot Perfect Cell. Of course though, this arc probably has Goku's biggest fumbles when he chooses to not defeat that Fat Buu. Buu is then able to evolve. Gotenks fails to defeat him, and ultimately so does Gohan. And that's because Goku isn't perfect. Just because the lore hypes him up to be impressive, by no means is he infallible. Thankfully, he is not alone. Now, the pace of the story once Goku returns to the living world with the Batara earrings is insanely fast, but once again, does so much to show how unique and unparalleled Goku is. I'm not going to talk about Vegito because that's a separate character who deserves his own lore-accurate video, but Vegito obviously only exists because of Goku. And so we now reach the final battle of Dragon Ball Z, Goku versus Kid Buu. Buu is now in his purest of states, a literal walking representation of all the unchecked evils that have been allowed to grow that threaten the entire universe. Goku puts everything on the line with the ridiculous limit-shattering power of Super Saiyan 3, and while the battle is close, it's ultimately not enough. Before, there had been 3 factors that allowed Goku to be the strongest in the universe, but the requirements have now changed. Anger gets you nowhere, Saiyan genetics have hit their limits, and no amount of training can ever be done before Buu destroys everything and everyone. But that's why there is a now final factor in becoming the strongest: teamwork. I know it sounds corny, but the reason Buu gets defeated is simply because Goku is a good person, probably the greatest trait he has. The plan and the work to create the final Spirit Bomb to beat Buu could only have been done by someone like Goku at its center. While the universe and people of Earth might not know Goku, he gains the trust of Mr. Satan, who does have that trust. While the coordination might have been impossible, he has made friends with aliens and gods across the universe who can literally make the impossible happen. While stalling for the bomb might not have been able to be possible, Goku just so happens to be rivals with the man with the most unyielding will in the entire universe. And it all comes together into one final attack, powered by everyone but created by Goku, who completely annihilates the evil from the past, finally putting the past, present, and future to rest. To think a gentle Saiyan could love to fight. Hang in there, Kakarot. You are number one. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This part ended up being way longer than the first part, which is not what I expected. Of course, this series could go on longer, going into lore accurate Goku in Dragon Ball Super, or Daima, or GT, or I could cover other characters and their lore accurate side of things. Let me know. Regardless, thank you to my members, and a special thank you again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. See ya.